Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today we're talking about NAKD Brands Group. Today I'm looking into the alt group effect, the massive move that is happening because of the 6% stake. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look into alt group's management. Can we trust them? What are some stakes they've taken in before? Do they go on for winners, or what is the entire scenario that keeps going on? We're going to look into different stocks that they invested in previously and how they performed over the last year or since they invested in them. So let's jump right into this one. So I made a lot of videos about this one. The last one did talk regarding the industry itself, the e-commerce. Also, there has been some rumors about 400% naked shorting, but that is not actually true. I did go over it last video. So that wasn't yesterday actually, but last video. And I did talk about how it's actually somewhere between to 8 to 12, 13%. Nonetheless, we're going to move on and take a look into today's news, alt groups investment. So covered this one quite extensively. You'd have to watch my previous videos, and I covered everything. There's no updates since my last video, including the NAKD Brand Group provides business updates on transformation to pure play e-commerce platform, including as well, I did talk about their sales of some of their sectors in the company itself. And we already know the 6.4% stake that was mentioned earlier, and the price moved significantly since then and then dropped back. And let's take a quick look into some of the video transcript. And they were talking about another stock that caught their eye. The stock also probably on that list mostly watched because it's so-called a meme stock. It's one of the new stocks that caught my attention by Reddit-based traders earlier this year. At one point, the shares were up to something like 750%. Now they're more like 200 to 250, yada yada. And what they go on in terms of this one here is mainly talking about the reverse split potential, which I did refer to in my last video, as well as the stock itself being more of a meme stock. Well, there is a point of it where they're labeled as a meme stock, but it has a lot of potential in my perspective, in my view. Now, a quick thing here, DPW, Alt Group Holding. Now, they had also a really interesting run for the last year. Currently, they're around almost 200% from where they were before, and peaked up around almost 600% or so. They peaked up around 1094 in the last 52 weeks in the last year, from 1.13 going up to almost around 900%. So they themselves have raised a lot of money in the market itself, and they want to spend it. So who are they? Alt Group Holdings, and I made a different video on DPW before on my channel. We're a diversified holding company acquiring undervalued assets and disruptive technology with a global impact. The holding company model provides a structure to raise, allocate, deploy, and manage significant permanent capital. We purchase the company. We believe we can operate more effectively than incumbent management, and we continually assess the strategic opportunity to improve shareholders' value. And they have their board of governance, including Milton Todd. Alt III is a seasoned business professional entrepreneur that has spent more than 27 years identifying values or valued assets where they're undervalued in equities, fixed incomes, and commodities and real estate. And then you have the CEO, William B. Horn, has served as a CFO of Targeted Medical Pharma, OTCBB TRGM, since August 2013. He's previously held the position of Chief Financial Officer for various other companies in healthcare and high-tech field, Optimism Corp, and others. So I don't see very much of high-tech, but he says high-tech field. However, the TRGM and I would say the PSTX aren't Microsoft really, or Google, but they're still OTCs in terms of these companies. And we're going to move on as well. We see William B. Horn. He has a net value or net worth of around somewhere 3.3 million. Cool. Also, the Milton C. Alt, between quotes, Todd, has been with the company since 2017. He's also the chairman of Avalanche International Corp. And we're going to move on as well to some of the holdings of DPW. So this is institutions backing DPW. So just keep in mind, there's not a lot of them in 2021. There's only one. It's Sosa Holdings adding around 10%. And when we're looking into NAKD here, we're seeing that in 2021, we've received around 3 backings. Alt is not even actually the biggest backing in 2021. It's Sosa Holdings, which, by the way, also backs 10% of DPW. So that's quite interesting. Sosa Holdings got 10% of DPW, and which is alt groups, and then they also got 10% of NAKD Brands. and they actually invested in Naked Brands after DPW. And then Alt Group Holdings, or Global Holdings, my bad, went on for 641. But you still have companies like Streetville Capital, which went for 917. Last year, Lead Research and Trading went 10%. So in terms of new owners, not really that. In fact, their ownership is not as big as you would think. And moving on, so this is some of the Alt Group Holdings for the company itself, for the companies itself. So you have Naked, SSNT, SSY, BTX, which goes as NTN Communication Incorporation, Mosey, MOSY, and I want to look into Avalanche International Core. And if you were to look into Avalanche International Core, this company here is related towards the founder himself. So just keep that in mind. And if we were to look into, let's say, the first one, all right, so we want to look into SSNT. And they invested in it just recently. So SSNT is actually on a rise. It's a little bit premature to go ahead and talk about, oh, this one is actually seeing a really nice jump. They invested on it on the 5th. So on the 5th, you're looking right on here, and so far they're around 13% from their investment. Okay, so first off, this is a little bit premature. We're less than a week in, but it's still on a dip. So you know what? We're gonna still be open-minded towards that one. Moving on, BTX, which is NTN Communication. And BTX, they went on the 17th of March. So 17th of March, they at some point were down 50%. Currently, they're down around 867 on the run. But generally speaking, looks like on average 10% down on this one. Well, I would say it's still 10% from now. But yeah, they bottomed out almost at 50% at some point on the last week, on the 1st of April. And if we were to look into another one, let's say SSNT, or sorry, we did SSNT, we'll do SSY. SSY, they've had a position on the 19th of March. So we'll go to the 19th of March and see, have they actually progressed in this one? 24% at a lower, currently sitting at 15% loss. So far, it's no profits in there. So now we're going on for Mosey, which is the 3rd of March. So the 3rd of March, you're looking somewhere around here. They are currently down almost 20% from their initial investment. So from the 3rd to the 9th of April, you're looking 1974 down. And then let's take a look into Avalanche, one of their biggest holdings, but of course the founder as well is related to that. And they invested in this one back in the 9th of May in 2018. So we're going to go back, say 5 years, 9th of May 2018, and they were at some point 93% down. Let's just double check. Yep, it is the 9th of May. So the 9th of May, they're currently up 1481. 2021, since it had a bit of an indication there, 2020 and 2021 pushing the price in a bullish market. So that is one of their only bullish thing going on for them in terms of stocks. But even then, if you were to consider the average around there, around $1, they're still down around 7%. But they bought it literally on a dip around 81 cents, and that's making them 14% higher. But 14% over 2 years, that is worse than the SP 500 in general. But again, Avalanche International is connected to the founder themselves. We're able to see that through Todd here. He's a chairman chairman into Avalanche International Core since 2014. So it's connected to Todd, which if we go back, is the current founder and executive chairman. So we get to see an overview here, and then comes to the question to, well, is this going to make a change towards Naked Brands? And before answering that question, if you would like to see more videos like this, scroll down, click that subscribe button and the bell notification button for this channel. And if you would like to join our Discord server, you'll find it in the description below. You're welcome to join. There's no commitments. And before I answer, is this going to move in on change or move in the stock price or change it significantly? Let's take a look into technical analysis. So on the 1 week perspective here, we're still on a red candle. The current bearish trading action zone is between 97 cents and 66 cents. So it needs to be above 66 cents to have that opportunity or option to perhaps get into that trading action zone. Keep in mind this is a bearish trading action zone. And so it's only safe above the 97 cents. Now, the MACD has actually gone negative, which indicates a negative reversal. Again, we will need to look into the 1 day perspective to get a bit of an idea onto whether this is more of an accumulation or rather than actual reversal. It's highly oversold though in this 1 week. Now, on a 1 day perspective, we're seeing the MACD is going back towards the positive, and that's a bullish thing. Now, however, take a look into the candle that peaked on 78 cents and then dropped down to 60 cents, currently sitting at 64 cents. It is currently past this bullish trading action zone between the 69 cents and the 81 cents. If it does reach within there on a one-day perspective, you might start expecting a positive reversal. Coupled with the MACD trying to go positive, it might actually be good news for next week, especially since we're making this video on a Friday, or even just throughout the weekend. Usually Monday stock might see a little bit of a higher run compared to a Friday. Momentum is creeping back up. It's the highest it's ever been since all the way back into the 23rd of March. Nonetheless, it's still negative 14. ADX doesn't show much here. It's currently still oversold. So moving average bands as well doesn't show much. It's declining. It's not even within the moving average band. Volumes have been really high. Actually, it's one of the highest it's been ever since the 11th of February around this region. And the current moving average band, it's expecting for this one to trade 87 on the top, 71 on the bottom, but the Bollinger bands are between 103 and 55. What does that mean? It means that you can start expecting for it to trade within that region because it's a penny stock. There might be a lot of volatility and a lot of movement between them two, but so far it's more closer towards the Bollinger bands at 55 cents. Stochastic fast and stochastic slow are not showing significant momentum given to this movement. And we can go ahead and draw Fibonacci retracements all the way from the 340 down below. And what we see is that there's no current support on the Fibonacci retracements, although we will identify supports using a price line action. Current significant resistance, 85 cents, 134, 173, 213, 269, and 340. Current price line action. You're looking into this one here, seeing a significant, very strong support at the 61 cents. Below there, a very strong one at 35 cents, 21 cents, and 13 cents. Significant resistances, oh, by the way, I missed a support at 69 cents, my bad. Significant resistances, you're looking into 82 cents. Above there, 90 cents. Above there, around the $1, 102. And then above there, you're looking into 112. And then we're looking up to 137. 155 and up to 185. Comes to the question too, Ed, what do you think about this one? What do you think about the alt group investment? So I honestly, from what we've seen in terms of return for alt group, they're honestly just throwing in shots almost blindly in terms of cheaper investments, etc. I covered the fundamentals of this one, and yes, relative to the market, this is a little bit cheaper, but there's a lot of intrinsic value going over it, and they've raised a lot of money to make it that cheap, or to make it more of a valued stock. We don't have an update on the current outstanding shares numbers, so we need in terms of the last quarter, or the next quarter, my bad, to reflect the price over book correctly. And so we can't adjust with that currently speaking. But in that sense, things are looking brighter for naked brand groups. However, there's still a problem regarding the reverse split potential that might actually happen just because it's currently below $1 and they still have a deadline. We checked that last video on the NASDAQ website. And are you going to go in just because of the alt groups? Please don't. Take it into words what the company is actually like and not because someone else's investment. And guess what? Institutions and other holdings, they might not be as smart as you are. Just keep that in mind. They're just normal folks and not geniuses. They're not all of them Bill Gates or other folks that are very popular in the stock market or technology industry, right? Not everyone is like them. So what do you think about this one? Make sure to down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day.